Well, good evening. My name is Justin Levenson, and I'm really excited, flattered, speechless to be able to be here with you tonight. Like I said, when I showed up for group one day, this smile back here said, "Hey, come here. We want you to come speak here." So I said, okay, if she says it, I'm doing it. I know that everybody here has been impacted with cancer. Some of us are friends, family, survivors, fighters, and certainly the beautiful hearts and minds of the medical professionals in the room. So it's amazing to be here. Yeah, a big thank you. So my experience with cancer got really personal on February 3rd, 2014. It was a normal post-Super Bowl party kind of day. I was working at CSAC, dealing with a pretty nice hangover, looking forward to dinner with some good friends, and bam, I find myself 40 minutes later waking up on my office floor, surrounded by paramedics, being asked questions like, who is the President of the United States? Well, after a short little ambulance ride on Metro's finest ambulance, I found myself at Vanderbilt. An irregular CT scan, an MRI, and lots of time sitting in the ER room by myself, and I hear a knock, and 5 doctors walk in. I think I'm older than these doctors, so I think they're residents, fellows, etc. At the time, I'm only 35, and I think the doctors were probably as nervous as I was. But their message for me that day was that I had a brain tumor in my left frontal lobe, and at the time, they thought it was about the size of an egg. Okay. A couple weeks later, I had a craniotomy, which for those who don't know is a fancy word at Vanderbilt for a brain surgery. And they removed what ended up being about a tennis ball sized tumor from my head. It had been there for about 5 years. And despite never having a Little League helmet that fit, I always had a big head, but we never really knew why. So I'm not sure if that's why, but there was certainly room for that mass to grow. So I did the craniotomy at Vanderbilt, and I was later diagnosed with a very rare form of brain cancer. And as my doctor at the time said it, but don't worry, you've got the best kind of brain cancer you can have. Okay. So initially, my doctors thought I was a unicorn. And I think all my friends around me thought that I was dodging the intenseness and the realness of what was going on, because I was always so positive. I always had a smile on my face. And despite being in a room full of people that, like myself and like everyone here, is dying, I didn't see it like that. I was flirting with the nurses, I was bringing them ice cream, I was doing whatever I do to make myself comfortable. And I was always talking about how I knew this was going to be opening of doors for me to be able to help people. My doctors were super supportive of that and said when it was time and when I was ready to let them know. Well, that time came, and they introduced me to one of Vanderbilt's angels, Miss Cindy Tinker. Cindy's a very special woman, and she brought me in on a committee to help organize and restart a program called Songs from the Heart, which partners cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, doctors with pro songwriters to turn their stories into songs. Well, that was great, but what I didn't know is that we were going to be meeting at Gilda's club. So Miss Tinker brought me this committee, which brought me through the red doors of Gilda's club. Well, so the event was a success, but the really big win for me was that I got to be involved and introduced to Gilda's club. And I got to start meeting this smile back here and the rest of the staff, and quickly became a member of Gilda's club myself. You know, when my Nashville family heard my cancer news, they wrapped their loving arms around me and blew my mind. My dad will tell you that it's the first time I ever experienced love in my life, and he is absolutely correct. I'm serious, but from t-shirts on the roundabout statues and Uber funds when I couldn't drive, and you name it, they did it. But given that, and with all of that great support, nothing compares to the support and counsel and the relationship and the feeling of being supported by people that are walking and have walked in my shoes. You know, I absolutely love my new friends in the young adult cancer group. I actually love that I have cancer. It is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to my life. You know, when I walk into those group meetings, I know I'm walking into a room that I can be open, I can be honest, and I'm doing that with people that are there to try to understand too. And hell, we don't all understand, but at least we're there for the same reason or reasons. I love that we can talk about dating with cancer. We can talk about those awkward, funny conversations with our partners about our sexy scars. We talk about our hopes and dreams for the future and how this thing called cancer has changed our lives, and certainly how it may change our lives in the future. We all come together from very different corners of the world with different cancers, different life experiences, but there's something that brings us all together, and it's those red doors and that frizzy hair of Gilda's club that brings us all together, and it's a bond that is just so much deeper than any word I could wrap around it. Whether we're there looking for peace or looking to learn best practices, or sometimes we're just there looking for a distraction from whatever we're dealing with that day, Gilda's club is there for us, and they are there for us at no charge to us. And that's because of you guys. You see, Gilda's club is a lot more than just that. Gilda's club is love, and Gilda's club is community. And Gilda's club is welcoming all of us through their doors to help us through the journey of life. And I am forever grateful and thankful that I said yes to Cindy Tinker to help at this event, that I said yes to Felice to be a member, and that I said yes to be here today. Because I will tell you that every time I'll walk out of those doors, I feel more alive than I ever have in my entire life. So thank you so much for being here and for listening. Thank you.